Okay. Good afternoon, all. Initially, I will take the review of last lecture within 1 minute. Okay. In last lecture, we have started with the introduction of the plastic material. What is the meaning of plastics? Then after that, we have discussed properties of the plastic material. Then we have seen the classification of the plastic materials in the two types, thermosets and thermoplastic materials. And again, that thermoplastic materials are classified in semi-crystalline and amorphous materials. And in brief, we have discussed the what is the exact meaning of thermosetting material, what is the exact meaning of thermoplastic materials, and what are their properties, and what are their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, we have discussed properties of thermoplastics, properties of thermosets, then advantages and disadvantages of thermoplastics, and advantages and disadvantages of the thermosets. Okay, till this part I think we have completed in the last lecture. Now in today's session, we will discuss the what is the means some comparison points between the thermosetting plastics and thermoplastics. And after discussing this comparison, we will move towards the next point, that is what is the meaning of additives, what will be the effect of addition of the additives in the plastic materials, and which are the different types of the additives, generally used additives, you can say that. Some 7 or 8 additives I have sorted here. And then after this additives used in the plastics, we will move towards the polymerization process. In that polymerization, what is the meaning of the polymerization, then what is the meaning of monomer, polymer, uh, and after that we will discuss the brief classification of the polymerization processes. Okay, I will try to complete this part also, okay, in the today's lecture only, if possible. Okay, now we will start today's session with this, and I will instruct you to provide your attendance in the chat box now. Okay, I will collect it at the end of the session. Now you can put your attendance in the chat box. Okay, along with your division. Complete it. I will wait for 1 minute here. After that, I will start. Please mention your attendance, sorry, your roll number for your attendance purpose in the chat box. Okay, I will start the session. Wait, some technical issues are there. Okay, now this is the first point for today's session, the comparison points between thermostatic plastics and thermoplastics. In last lecture only, we have discussed the what is the meaning of thermoplastic material and thermostatic material, and to write these comparison points, you should refer the structure, basic structure of the thermoplastics and basic structure of the thermosetting materials or thermosets. Okay, in thermoplastics, you can clearly see here these rounded molecules. These are termed as monomers. These are joined linearly joined with each other. Okay, linearly joined with each other, and there is no cross linking. There is no cross linking of the chains. Okay, only single chains will be there. You can see each chain is separate. There is no cross linking. Cross linking means one chain is joined to the another chain. That cross linking is not present in the thermosets. Okay, thermoplastics, and in thermosets that cross linking is present. Okay, you can see this diagram here. This is very important point. That's why I am repeating it again and again. If this why this property change or property difference is there, if you understand this point clearly, then you can write differentiation points or whatever explanation related to the properties, advantages and disadvantages may be there. You can write it. Okay. And in the thermocytes, this cross linking will be there. You can clearly observe this here. Cross linking, this dark spot indicates the cross linking, means the one chain you can see here, this is one linear chain and it is joined to the another chain with a link. Okay, here you can see that this dark spot is the cross link. One linear chain of the monomers is joined to the another linear chain of the monomers. This will be termed as the cross linking, and this cross linking is present in the thermocytes. Okay, now we will come to the differentiating points here. Okay, this is the first differentiating points. First I will take for this thermoplastics. Okay, what are these thermoplastics? You can soften them again and again by providing the heat and pressure. Okay, you can do the softening and hardening process again and again. Means here you can do the reshaping or remolding process again and again on this thermoplastic materials. But in case of the thermosetting material, okay, you can do the heating. When you start the heating initially at the higher temperature ranges, they will directly start decomposing. In short, you can say that when you start heating, they will start the means they will set and becomes hard. Okay, I think this point is becoming a little bit complicated. I will repeat it in these short words. When you heat the thermosetting material, initially they will become hard, and after continuous heating, they may get degraded. Okay, degraded, or they may start decomposing. This is the first differentiating point. Thermosetting material. In short, you can say that this is the effect of the heat. Okay, when you heat the thermosetting material, initially they will set and become the hard, and if you continue the heating they will decompose. And in case of the thermoplastics, you can do the heating, means after heating they will become soft, and after cooling they will become the hard, and you can do this process again and again. This is the first differentiating point. You can say that the effect of heat. Then the second point is whichever chemical changes are occurring in the thermosetting materials, that chemical changes cannot be reversed. Means suppose you have heated, if you have provided the heat, then that thermoset material will get hardened. Okay, it will get hardened. Now you cannot do the softening of that particular thermoset material again. Okay, that change is not reversible. You can say that it is a irreversible change. Whichever chemical changes are occurring in the thermosetting material, that are irreversible. And in the thermoplastic material, whichever chemical changes are there, uh, these chemical changes are reversible in nature. Okay, you can say that here from this first point only, you can do the heating and cooling again and again. You can do the reshaping or remolding again and again. Means whichever chemical changes are there, you, that are reversibles. Okay, in case of these thermoplastics. The next point is, and these thermosetting materials, these are made by using condensation polymerization process. Okay, you are having, I will take separate lecture on this polymerization method. Just here, you have to remember that, yeah, this thermosetting materials, these are manufactured or prepared by condensation polymerization, and this thermoplastic materials, these are prepared by addition polymerization. Okay, uh, please note down these points also in your notebook. This is very important point. Please note down this. Okay, then I will move towards the next point. What is the condensation polymerization and addition polymerization, that I will explain in the next lecture. To understand this polymerization process, you have to go through the concept of monomer polymers that we are going to see at the end of this lecture. Okay, just try to remember this. By condensation polymerization, thermosets are formed, and by addition polymerization, these thermoplastics are formed. Then the next point is the formation of water takes place during this thermoset. During this condensation polymerization only, some at the end of the process, water molecules are formed, and in case of thermoplasts, no formation of water will be there. Then next is the thermoset materials. They will be having higher load carrying capacity. Refer this point. They will be having higher load carrying capacity, as already we have discussed that they are having cross linking here. Due to the this cross linking, their load carrying capacity will be more, and this thermoplast will be having low load carrying capacity. Then due to that cross linking only, these thermoset materials are more hard, strong, and sometimes you can say that they are more brittle in nature. But as this cross linking is completely absent in this thermoplastic materials, they are soft in nature, relatively weak as compared to the thermoset materials, and brittle less brittle in nature as compared to the thermoset materials. Then these thermoset materials are insoluble in the organic solvents. Okay, whichever solvents, different solvents are there, these are insoluble in nature in that organic solvents. These thermoplasts will be soluble in that solvents. And then these thermosetting materials will be having higher melting point and higher strength. This will be having lower melting point and lower strength. Okay, all these 4 points here, which I have discussed here, means they will have high load carrying capacity, more hardness, and more stronger in nature, insoluble in these solvents, and higher melting point. All these 4 points for these thermoset materials are due to the presence of this cross linking. Okay, that you have to write in the next point. Thermosets are having cross linked polymers, and all these 4 points, above 4 points in the thermoplast. Okay, they will be having low load carrying capacity, they will be soft in nature, less brittle, soluble in the organic solvents, and they will be having low melting point. All these 4 points are based on the concept that they are basically consisting of linear branched, you can say that linear chain or branched linear polymer chain will be there. Okay, there will be no cross linking. Cross linking will be completely absent. Depending on these points only, you can create the remaining 4 5 points. And the other 2 points, you have to remember that whichever chemical changes are occurring in these thermosets that are irreversible, and whichever chemical changes are occurring in this thermoplast that are reversible, and these thermosets are manufactured or prepared, you can say that prepared with the help of condensation polymerization, and these will be prepared with the help of addition polymerization. And during the condensation polymerization process only, some water molecules will be formed at the end, and in the addition polymerization, no water molecules will be formed. Okay, so these are the differentiating points, and at the end of this differentiation, you can add some practical examples for both thermoset plastic materials and thermoplastic materials. Okay, in this thermosets, examples will be like this: epoxy resins, then bakelite, polyurethanes, urea formaldehyde, then melamine formaldehyde. Okay, like this, one or two examples will be sufficient. I have written here 5 to 6 names. Then in case of the thermoplastic materials, polyethylene, polypropylene, then polystyrene, then PVC. Long form of this PVC material will be polyvinyl chloride. Further in the afterwards, here from here onwards, I am going to use the, sometimes I may use short forms. Okay, so that for that you have to remember these short forms for polyvinyl chloride, PVC material. Okay, that is nothing but the PVC material, polyvinyl chloride, then polyethylene, PE, it will be represented by letter capital letter PE, then polypropylene, PP, and polystyrene, PS. Okay, so these are some practical examples of thermoplastics, and on the left side you can see that these are the example of the thermosets. Okay, in this way the differentiating points between the thermoset materials and thermoplastic materials is completed here. I will wait for 2 or 4 minutes here. Please note down these points, and after writing this in your notebook, write that in the chat box you have completed this. Then I will move towards the next point, additives in the plastics. Okay, I will wait for okay, 4 minutes. I will give you 3 to 4 minutes. After that, I will change the slide. Please note down these points. And those who have joined late, please mention your roll number in the chat box as you have. Okay, I will collect it as a attendance. Okay, don't leave the session just by entering your roll number. Okay, at the end of the session, I will again ask you to put your roll numbers. Okay, and I will verify it. And okay, please note down these important points so that I will move towards the next slide. And also, please draw the diagram for your reference purpose. After this, I will switch towards the next slide containing the diagram. Please draw that diagram also. Hmm. Okay. Okay, I will put your next slide here. Please draw this diagram. Whether the diagram is visible on screen? Not able to see it. Lost. Shubham Kadam. Shubham Kadam, are you there? Shubham Kadam. Aniket Pawar. Aniket
Yes,
Pawar, are you
yes,
there?
sir. Yes, sir.
Whether the diagram is visible on screen? Please confirm it that the diagram is visible on screen or not. Anyone, please provide me a reply whether that diagram is visible.
No, sir, not visible.
Not visible. Wait. Wait for a few minutes, a few seconds. I will reshare my screen here. Wait. Think for that particular tab, some problem is there. And now I think that slide will be visible. Okay. I think now it is visible.
Ah, yes, sir. Now visible.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, please draw this diagram. After completing, please mention that you have completed it, so that I will move towards next slide. You can draw a few chains. Okay. It is not necessary to draw as it is. You have to draw the linear chains. Okay. This rounded molecules, you can say that this is the monomer. Okay, this is the single circular particle. You can consider it as a monomer, and these monomers will be joined here. Okay, and they will form a chain. This is the linear chain. You can draw one or two chains for referring this thermoplast, and you can draw few chains, and you have to do the cross linking. Okay, with the help of this cross link, means you have to draw two or three chains, and that two or three chains you have to connect to each other. So this will be thermosets. Okay. uh, shall I move towards next slide? If you have finished the drawing, please provide me reply. You're taking too much time. Okay, I think this much time is sufficient. I will move towards the next slide. So this is the next point: additives in the plastic. Okay, so some chemicals or some other materials are added in the plastics. Okay, that materials will be termed as the additives. Then what is the importance, you can say that, or what is the need of adding these additives? Okay, so I have mentioned one sentence here: additives are added in the plastics to modify their properties, their behavior, and to change their cost. Okay, so that that particular plastic material will become helpful for different applications, you can say that. Means, according to your purpose, you are going to change some properties, or you are going to do some variation in the properties of the available plastic material. To do that, you require some chemicals, and that chemicals are referred as additives. Okay, in short, you can say that some extra chemicals you are adding in the polymers or that available plastic material to change its properties according to our need, so that it will become suitable for our application. Okay, that chemicals or that materials will be referred as additives. Now, number of additives can be used here, but generally used additives I have listed in the next slide. So before that, I have highlighted here some effect of addition of these additives in the on the plastic materials. When you add these additives in the plastics, what basic effect they will cause? First effect: additives makes that particular plastic material easier to do the processing. Okay, with the addition of these additives, they will change the flowability of that particular polymer material or particular plastic material, means they will increase their flowability. Due to the increase in the flowability or improvement in the flowability, it becomes very easy to conduct different processing methods or different manufacturing methods on that particular plastic material. This is the first effect. Then the second effect, due to due to these additives, that manufactured component of that plastic material, it will become attractive, attractive in look, you can say that. Then due to addition, due to these additives, it will reduce the cost of that particular plastic material. Then due to the addition of these additive materials, you can say that plastic materials becomes safe and sound. Sometimes some polymer materials easily catch the fire, easily catch the fire, and they may get burned. And this property will be, you can say that, reduced or eliminated by addition of these additive material. That's why they become safe and sound for our practical use. Then some plastic materials, these are you clean and healthy. Okay, clean and healthy in the sense, if you have visited a hospital, sometimes you can see that number of instruments available that are made up of the plastics. Your syringe, you can say that, or some that glucose bottle is there, it is made up of the plastic material only. Okay, but initially that whichever plastic material you are using for manufacturing of that, you can say that glucose bag, or you can say that some blood, whenever they are collecting our, taking our bloods, they are collecting in bag. That all bags initially, they may be hazardous, but, or you can say that, they may create some poison. Okay, if these additives are not added, if you directly take the polyethylene bags or polypropylene bags, then it may cause some poisonous effect. To avoid that poisonous effect, some additives are added. Due to addition of these additives materials only, it becomes clean and healthy. Whichever plastic material you are using, it becomes clean and healthy. And addition of these polymer materials, they will also improve the life of that particular plastic material. And they will also respect the environment due to addition of these additives. Here this point, respect the environment, it will refer to, suppose, means, you can say that in the previous time, or you can say that 20 or 30 years back, whichever vehicles are there, almost all the its components or parts are manufactured with the help of metals only. If you refer your four wheelers or two wheelers, nowadays lots of old components are replaced, lots of old metal parts are replaced by the plastic parts. And due to this replacement, the weight of that particular vehicle is reduced, and due to reduction in the weight, mileage of that particular vehicle is improved. And due to improvement in the mileage, you can say that energy consumption is reduced. In these aspects, they have written here that additives respect the environment. Okay, means they are reducing the consumption of the energy. Indirectly they are reducing the consumption of the energy. So these are some basic points I have highlighted here. What is the effect of additives on the plastics? Now we will move towards the next point. Some practically used additives I have highlighted here. Means name of that additives, what is the function of that additive, and some practical example of that additives. Lots of times in the MCQs they have asked this, means they will provide you the function to change this property or in the plastic material, which additives you have to add. And they will provide you some 3 4 options will be there. Okay, so that you should, now to answer this question, these types of MCQs you should aware of, it means related some 7 to 8 important additives are there, that only from that question will be there. Okay, one function will be there. Suppose they will provide you how to reduce the flammability of the plastics. They will provide you the options by adding fillers, by adding plasticizers, by adding flame retardants. Okay, like that they will provide you three four options. You have to choose the correct one. And to answer this question, you should aware of the different additives, their functions, and some practical examples also. Okay, then we will start with the first additives. It is termed as the plasticizers. Okay, you can read the first additives in this slide, the plasticizers. Now, this plasticizer, what is the need of this, or what is the exact function of this plasticizer? When you add this plasticizer in the plastic material, what will happen? They will increase the flowability. They will increase the flowability of that plastic material, and they will decrease the brittleness of that plastics or that particular plastic material. Okay, to improve the flow characteristics or flowability and to reduce the brittleness, these plasticizers are added. Some practical examples I have collected here. You can say that, or you can read it clearly here. Some short forms are also there. In some books, you may directly get short forms. I have collected some name here. Phthalate materials are there. Phthalate. Okay. This is phthalate compound. You can directly write that. Phthalate compound are generally used as plasticizers, phthalate compounds. And in that phthalate compounds, dioctyl phthalate and diisooctyl phthalate. Okay, DOP and DIOP, dioctyl phthalate and diisooctyl phthalate. Okay, try to remember short name, or if possible, you can write the full name also. DOP and DIOP. This DOP refers dioctyl phthalate, and this DIOP means diisooctyl phthalate. Or if it is not possible to remember these both names, you can directly write that. Just phthalate compounds can be used as plasticizers. Okay, generally phthalate compounds are used, and some rarely used chemicals like esters, fatty acid esters, or some types of the alcohols. These are used as the plasticizers to improve the flowability and to decrease the brittleness of the plastic material. So this is related to the plasticizers. And after this plasticizer, next additives is filler. Now, to reduce the cost, okay, to reduce the cost of a particular material, uh, whichever material is added in that plastic material, that will be termed as the filler. Here our aim is to reduce the cost. Okay, now these fillers, oh, okay, these fillers, wait for 1 minute. Okay, now these fillers are added just to reduce the cost of the plastic materials. Now different examples of the filler materials like calcium carbonate, talc, silica, holostonite. You can read like this, holostonite. Okay. If it is not possible to remember this, you can keep this also. It only few examples are sufficient: calcium carbonate, talc, silica, then holostonite, then clay, then calcium sulfate fibers. It is also known as the Franklin fiber. Then glass beads and aluminium trihydrate. Okay, if you are able to write one or two names, it is sufficient. Calcium carbonate, talc, silica, mica, like that you can write. Okay, one or few three names will be sufficient. One or two names will be sufficient. Just you have to write, remember the basic function. Here, the fillers are added to reduce the cost. Okay, in some books, okay, these fillers, in that fillers only, they have taken the softeners and extenders. Okay, this sixth name, softeners and extenders. You can refer the softeners and extenders as a filler also, as a filler also. In some books, they have referred these softeners and extenders as a filler. But here, depending on the function, I have sorted it. In some books, you can find that they have referred these softeners, this point number 6, softeners and extenders as fillers only. Okay, but little bit difference in the function is there. That's why I have taken it separately. And what they have done, fillers, and that fillers they have added like this. These are helpful to reduce cost and to improve the flow. And for that flow purpose, they have referred the softeners and extenders. Here I have taken it separately. Okay, just don't get confused. Okay, so after the fillers, the next is the flame retardants. Okay, from the name itself, you can clearly understand what is the function here. Flame retardants. Retardants means it will reduce the effect of flame. Okay, means some plastic materials they are very prone to the burning. Means if light fire is there, they will start the burning, or if they come in contact with the oxygen, they will directly start the burning process. To avoid that, some chemicals are added. That chemicals will be termed as the flame retardants. And generally we are using halogen compounds or halogen atoms, you can say that. Halogen atoms means bromine, chlorine, fluorine. These are halogen atoms. They will means when they are added in the plastic material, they will react with the plastic material, and they will form a compound, and that compound will work as a flame or fire retardant. Okay, and in short, for examples, you can take here halogen atoms like bromine, chlorine, fluorine, iodine. All these are halogen atoms, but generally or maximum times we are going to use this chlorine and bromine only. And one practical example of that material, plastic material, is chlorinated paraffin. Okay, paraffin is the plastic material, but we are adding some chlorine, and that paraffin will be termed as chlorinated paraffin material. So this is the function of the flame retardant. And which are the retardants we are adding here? Halogen atoms we are adding here as the retardants. Means they will reduce the flame ability of the plastic material by preventing the reaction with the oxygen. Some examples I have added here. Then next, the fourth type of the additives. Okay, the reinforcing agent here. Reinforcing agent. Now, what is the function of this? Reinforcing agents, these are having, or they will result in the improved mechanical properties. Improved mechanical properties in the sense they will improve the strength of the plastic material. Here, for example, we are adding nylon or some fibrous materials like glass fibers we are adding. Sometimes we are adding metal fibers also. Metal fibers to give the strength to that particular plastic material. That will be termed as reinforcing materials or reinforcing agents. They will improve the mechanical properties like strength, hardness of the plastic material. And which are the practical examples, or which are the chemicals will that will act as a reinforcing agent? That will be your nylons or different kinds of the fibers like glass fibers or metal fibers. Okay, after this, the next additives is stabilizers. Okay, stabilizers means they will stabilize, means for the you can say that when you are using a particular material for longer period of time, some properties may get changed. As time is passing away, some properties may get changed due to the surrounding environment. But to keep the properties as it is, some stabilizing materials will be added. Means property, if you check the material right now, okay, suppose you have checked the material right now, and you have mentioned that property, uh, some strength is like this. In the some units you have mentioned the strength, hardness. And if you check the properties of that same compound or that material after 5 years or 10 years gap, it will remain as it is. Okay, due to, and to achieve this, you have to add certain chemicals or compounds that will be termed as the stabilizers. And in case of the plastic materials, we are using uh, carbon here, carbon blocks are there, not blacks here, carbon blocks, or the benzophenone material is used as the stabilizers. Okay, what is the function of the stabilizer? To stabilize the properties throughout the life of that component. Okay, means properties will remain as it is with the passing time also. And next additives is softener and extender. Now this softener and extender, from the name itself, the softener increases the softness of the material, or you can say that the flow characteristics, flowability will be improved. And when we are using this softener in liquid state, that liquid state softener will be termed as extender, and this extender will improve the flow, as well as it will act as a retardant, also flame retardant. Okay, softeners and extenders commonly you can put here, they are used to improve the flowability or flow characteristics, and sometimes they can also act as a flame retardant. Then next additives is the colorants, from a name itself, to give the different attractive colors to the plastic materials. These colorants are used here. Two types of the colorants are available. One is, you can see, that dyes and pigments. These dyes and pigments are the nothing but the plastic materials only, and that will come under the category of these are termed as additives. These are additives which we are adding in the plastics. Okay, now uh, dyes and pigments. What is the function of these dyes and pigments? Function is to provide the attractive color, and they will provide this attractive color in two ways. When you add the dyes, they will provide you the transparent color. Okay, they will provide you the transparent color will be provided when dyes are added in the plastic material. And when pigments are added, they will provide you the opaque color. Opaque color means it is not transparent. It does not allow the light to, you can say that, pass through that particular plastic material. That's why it will result in the opaque color. Opaque, it is exactly opposite to the transparent. It does not allow the light to pass through it. Okay, means due to the pigments, it will give you a color which is opaque in nature. And this addition of the dyes, they will provide you a color that which is transparent in nature. Okay, and generally we are using pigments in case of plastic materials, and maximum times here the color used is black and white. Now this black color will be carbon black color. Okay, and for achieving the white color, the tungsten, titanium oxide is used here, not tungsten, sorry. This is titanium oxide. TiO2 is the titanium oxide is used to achieve the white color. Then next is the lubricant. Okay, lubricants are used here. Now the function of the addition of this lubricants will be like this. This lubricant will achieve these three objectives. It will prevent the polymer from adhering to the processing equipments. Okay, adhering means attaching to the processing equipments, or means it will get sticked to the processing equipment. Sometimes that polymer material may get sticked, or may get stitched or attached to that processing equipment, and this is avoided by addition of some additives, and that will be termed as lubricants. Sometimes addition of the lubricants, they will result in the improvement of the flow characteristics, or it will increase the flowability. And the last function is, it will prevent the friction and minimizes the wear and tear which is occurring in the machine. Okay, due to this lubricant, friction will be reduced, and as friction is reduced, wear and tear which is occurring in that machines or equipments or tools, it will get reduced. And some lubricants used are stearic acid, then carboxylic acid, then glyceryl monostearate, then graphite. Okay, it will be like this. Now particularly this glyceryl monostearate, it will be added to prevent the adhering of the polymer compound or polymer material to the processing equipment. Addition of the polymer compound to the processing equipment is avoided by adding this glyceryl monostearate. Then this flowability will be improved by adding this stearic acid. Okay, stearic acid here. And this stearic acid and carboxylic acid and this graphite togetherly or separately, they will act, means they will try to reduce the friction also. Okay, means this glyceryl monostearate is used to avoid the addition of the polymer material or the plastic material to the processing equipment. And the stearic acid, carboxylic acid and graphite, when they are added, and they will act as a lubricant, as well as they will improve the flowability of that particular material or that particular plastic material. So in this way we have completed this part, additives in the plastics. Okay, and after this we will move towards this polymerization process. And before starting the actual polymerization process, you should understand what is the meaning of the monomer and what is the meaning of the polymer. Okay, I think, okay, on only few minutes, I think 5 or 8 minutes are there. Yeah, I think I will continue this, or I will take this monomer polymer part in the next session only, so that you will easily understand the polymerization process. In short, I will tell you that monomer is nothing but a single unit or single molecule, okay, which is repeated again and again in the chain. That will be termed as the monomer. Like in our crystal structure we are having unit cells, exactly that unit cell will be very much similar to this monomer. And with combination of number of monomers, with combination of number of monomers, uh, polymer will be formed. Okay, monomer will be a single repeating unit or single molecule which is repeated again and again in a chain, that will be termed as monomer. And when number of monomers stitched or joined together with the bond in a longer chain, it will be termed as the polymer. Now means you can clearly say that these polymers are formed from the monomers only. Okay, but there are certain conditions, and certain conditions are there, and the process through which these monomers are transformed, or these polymers are formed with the help of these monomers, that process is termed as the polymerization. You can say that process of transforming or formation of the polymers from these monomers will be termed as the polymerization. Okay, how this polymerization exactly occurs, that we will discuss in the next session. Okay, I will summarize today's session, what we have learned in this session. Today's session, we have completed the distinguishing points or comparison points between thermosetting plastics and thermoplastics with examples. Then we have discussed the structure of the thermoplastics and thermoset materials. Then we have discussed the what is the meaning of the additives, what is the effect of additives on the plastic material. Then we have taken some examples of the additives used in the plastic material. We have seen their function along with the practical examples. In that we have learned the what is the function of plasticizer, filler, flame retardant, reinforcing agents, stabilizers, softeners, extenders, then colorants and lubricants, along with their examples. Means we have learned what is the effect or what is their function, along with few practical examples, and we have learned what is the meaning of the monomer and what is the meaning of the polymer. In the next session we will discuss the polymerization process along with its brief classification and few examples. Okay, so I think I will stop here. I will stop today's session here only. If anyone had joined late, kindly put your roll number in the chat box for the attendance purpose. I will collect it later. Okay, don't put again and again. If anyone has missed this, for that person only I am telling that put your roll number. Okay, uh, and if you are having any query, you can mention that in the chat box. If you are not having any query, I will stop today's session here only. If you are having any query, put that in the chat box. I will wait for a few minutes. If you are not having any query, I will stop this session. Okay, if all points are clear, you can mention that in the chat box. If any query is there, you can write the query. If all points are clear, you can write that you are not having any difficulty or all points are clear. Okay, I will stop today's session here. Thank you for attending this session. Thank you. You can continue with your remaining sessions.